Hey, welcome back. One of the great things about Song of Ice and Fire is that there are so many grey characters who have committed some morally questionable acts. So I thought it'd be fun to take a look at things from their perspective and deliberate on whether or not they are indeed the a-hole in that situation. So let's kick off with this one. Am I the asshole for not telling my wife the truth about my bastard son? Throwaway because the entire North doesn't need to be gossiping about this. I, 35 male, have been married to my wife Caitlin, 32 female, for over a decade. We have a strong marriage built on duty, respect, and shared responsibility over our home and children. The problem is my son, John, 14 male. Everyone believes that John is my bastard from a war I fought years ago. The truth is more complicated, much more complicated, but I can't tell anyone. You have a bastard, or you say you have a bastard son, but the truth of that is a lot more complicated. Yeah, it's gonna be complicated. Naturally, I swore an oath to his mother, who is no longer alive, to protect him, and breaking that promise could put John in very real danger, especially from my oldest friend, King Robert, 38 male. Robert is a good man in many ways, but when it comes to the past, especially anything involving Targaryens and my sister, the woman he loved and lost, he can be blinded by rage. That must be pretty scary. If you have a friend that something triggers them so much that you can't even, calm them down, you definitely want to avoid that subject. I've seen how he talks about them when he drinks. You wouldn't want to give him any drink. How he swears he'd kill every last one. How he can't let go of the grief and anger from the rebellion. If he ever found out who John truly is, he would kill him. Even though it's your best friend. Not much of a friend. Because of this secret, Caitlin has always struggled with John's presence. She's not cruel, but she's distant. Cut. As the reader, she is fucking cruel, okay? Just not in front of you. Right. She's cruel? No, she's not cruel. She is fucking cruel. She's not cruel, but she's distant. And honestly, I can't blame her. From her perspective, I've brought another woman's child into our home and expected her to accept him with no questions asked. She's asked me before who John's mother was, what happened, if I loved the woman, and every time I shut her out. I hate doing that to her. She deserves better than vague, brooding non-answers. But I can't break my word. Not even for her. Recently, tension has grown worse. John left to join the Night's Watch, where he'll take vows and give up everything. And Caitlin made a comment about how it may be for the best as I was going south and would no longer be in the home. Now I'm questioning everything. Have I been a good husband? Was it fair of me to keep this secret from her for so long? Is honouring an old promise worth hurting my marriage? Am I asking too much of her by insisting she trusts me with no explanation? I'm trying to protect a boy who didn't ask for any of this, but in doing so, I've hurt the woman I love. So, am I the asshole for refusing to tell my wife the truth about John, even though it's damaging our relationship? Wow. It is very heavy from Ned's point of view on being a good husband, yet having this huge thing that you're not telling your wife. Firstly, you bring home, you get married to this woman, okay, so your brother was previously betrothed, you don't have this great bond and necessarily this pre-existing feeling like you owe her something, like you owe her the complete truth. And with you having to go off to war early in the relationship and then bringing back a bastard child, that is going to be very hurtful to her. But the fact that you won't tell her who the mother is even more hurtful to her. because there's this secret that has hung over your entire marriage that you obviously feel you can't trust Caitlin with this secret. And I do get that because you're trying to protect your child. If the secret goes out and say for example, you know the secret and perhaps nobody else does. But if you tell one person and then somebody else finds out, you didn't tell them, so that person definitely told them. But also, he is kind of protecting Caitlin by giving her plausible deniability if Robert ever found out. Like, why would he? I mean, if Robert found out, say he did kill John, he would obviously be very angry at Ned for having kept this secret and kept a Targaryen under his roof for so long. Yeah, he may take that also out on Caitlin. But then plausible deniability is not going to help her in that case. So really, you're not telling her because you think that she might tell somebody else and the secret would get out, possibly. And at some point over your, 14 years of marriage at least, you've never felt like I can finally open up to you about this huge weight that I've been carrying that I can't tell my best friend, I can't tell my wife, I can't tell the kid who I'm saying is my son. It is very heavy. And you know what they say? A problem shared is a problem halved. But yeah, I think maybe it is asshole behavior to your wife to not open up and share that burden. He probably would have been more accepting to John rather than thinking that he was your bastard. And also keeping that from her, that huge secret of no, you can't know who his mother is, it makes her an outsider in this marriage again. It's not a marriage where you're sharing everything because there's this one thing that you're not sharing. Also, if Robert found out, I mean, it sounds like he wouldn't take the fact that John is a child for he's got his innocence, he may be kind, he may not be like the rest of the Targaryens, but Robert would still kill him to eliminate that possibility that he may one day be a threat to Robert's crown. A child. It's really not much of a best friend if he goes off the handle. Like, I know you don't have to agree with everyone on everything, but there are some major points where you feel like you have to find some agreement with your friends, right? Overall, I would say that I think you are kind of being an asshole to Caitlin, but it is for a really good cause. You are protecting a child, and it's not like it's a random child as well, even though that would still be very noble. This is blood of your blood, your sister's child. So, priority over a woman you had to marry. Yeah, I can understand that. Overall, I would say yes, you're being an asshole to your wife, but this is to protect a child, an innocent child. So, not the asshole. Obviously, that was Ned. See if you can guess who this next one is. Am I the asshole for killing the king I swore to protect? Throwaway because, well, I'm the Kingslayer. Everyone already has an opinion about me, and I don't need my family finding this. I, 21 male at the time, now older and far more jaded, was a member of the King's Guard serving King Aerys Targaryen II, also known as the Mad King. And yes, Mad wasn't just a fun nickname. The man was deeply unstable, paranoid, cruel, obsessed with fire in a way that made everyone around him nervous. Hold up, imagine you are like the head of security to whoever your like head of state is, like the Prime Minister in the UK case. You're head of security, and like the Prime Minister starts getting a bit obsessed with fire. You're gonna feel like, I need to be a firefighter rather than security. Like I'm being security to protect this dude from himself. I need to have a bucket of sand or water on standby as part of my job. I was young, honoured to be chosen for the King's Guard, and stupid enough to believe vows were simple. Here's what happened. During the rebellion, Ares became increasingly unhinged, conspiracies everywhere, traitors in every shadow. He stopped listening to reason. He stopped trusting his generals. He started burning people, advisors, nobles, anyone he suspected may betray him. You're going to start wanting to edit that CV, aren't you? But the thing is, with the Kingsguard, you're sworn for life. So you're stuck with that as your job. Dealing with somebody who is obviously becoming more and more disagreeable with the people that they're working with is going to make you on edge, very on edge. He even kept wildfire caches hidden beneath the city, something only a few of us knew. Going back to a real world example, there's like the Prime Minister suddenly deciding to keep something that's practically a bomb just dotted randomly around like the city of London in case they need to go off at some point. Why? Why would you ever need that to go off? What kind of madness is that, Ares? Then, one day, he gave the order I still hear in my sleep. Burn them all. I mean, it sounds like because he put them there, he was always intending to do that. Not the enemy army, not the rebels, the entire city. Men, women, children, everyone. Everyone. Children, the dogs, the cats, the rats. His plan was to ignite the wildfire under King's Landing and let the whole capital go up in green flames. He wanted to rule over the ashes or die knowing no one else would rule after him. I tried to reason with him. He laughed. He said the fire would make him a dragon. Okay, so before the line before where he was like, if I can't rule, nobody can. I thought he was just being a bit narcissistic. But the fact he thinks a fire will make him a dragon, he has lost it. He ordered his pyromancers to prepare the flames, and he commanded his last loyalist to kill my father the moment he entered the gates. So I had a choice. 1, obey my vow and let 500,000 people burn alive. Not just killing them, but like burn alive. What a way to go. That is, I mean, wildfire, the way it spreads and burns and burns and burns, it does sound a bit napalmy, which is atrocious. It sounds like a horrific way to go. Or, his choice number 2, break my sacred oath and stop him by any means necessary. I'd go option 2 too. So, I chose option 2. I killed him. I put a sword through the king I was sworn to protect, and then I killed the pyromancer before he could light the wildfire. I saved the city, but the moment Robert's forces arrived, everyone assumed I'd done it for him, or for myself, or because I'm a Lannister. No one wanted to hear why I did it. No one asked. No one cared. Oh, harsh. They just called me Kingslayer, spit the word out like poison, and moved on. Even the people I saved don't know what really happened. I'm still bound by the silence of my vow, and the man I saved the city for, Robert, would have killed me if I admitted the truth anyway. So, am I the asshole for killing my king, even though he was about to burn an entire city alive? Woo. Honestly, you're not, because the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. You killed one guy and saved 500,000. That would have certainly died if this guy was allowed to carry on what he was doing. You definitely should have killed the pyromancers because they were the ones carrying out the act. But you killed your king. And my question is, could you have not put him under arrest until Robert or your father arrived, someone who could carry out whatever act needed to be carried out? Did you have to kill Ares yourself? Was there some inner hatred there for him, some resentment for doing all of the things that he's done that you have heard him do and witnessed? You swore a vow to protect him. He died anyway had he carried out his act, so there is also the argument of, did you just do it to save yourself because you didn't want to burn alive either? I feel like you could have done something different there, Jamie. And also the sitting on the throne when Ned came walking in, it was not a good look. Though I admit, yeah, you were probably very stressed and needed to sit down. The floor is probably more comfortable than a fucking sword in your back or in your ass or in your arm. You know, sitting on the Iron Throne does not sound comfortable. So also, why did you do that? Also, just to point out, we all know what you do with your sister. And everything else that you do in your life, Jamie, I feel like every other aspect, yeah, you are an asshole. But for this situation, I'm gonna say nah, not the asshole. Also, it's really gutting that everyone that still lives in King's Landing before and after the rebellion that could have potentially died and you saved their life, they still spit at you and treat you like shit. That sucks. But for the sake of your reputation, yeah, let them think you're an asshole. In my opinion, in this situation only, you're not the asshole. What do you guys think? Let me know. Did you like this concept for a video? Let me know. We could do another one, maybe like Davos and Edric or some of Arya's decisions. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Links to socials will be in the description below. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Like the video if you've enjoyed it. Have a good day. Cheerio. Grey characters who commit some morally, fuck. That there are so many grey characters who commit some morally morally questionable acts. Grey characters who have committed some who have committed some moral. Oh my god, I've started this 5 times, I swear, and I keep saying morally. Now I say it right when I'm trying to fucking repeat what I've said wrong. Right, anyway.